Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is GamingWithSal and welcome back to the channel. Now for this video, I want to do something that I've wanted to do for quite a while now, but I just never had the time to do it or the opportunity to get around it. But now since I do, I felt like that this is the perfect time to go ahead and tell you guys what I think are the top 10 Call of Duty titles in terms of their multiplayers of all time. And this list is once again going to be my opinion. You can feel free to agree with it or disagree with it, and also feel free to put your top 10 Call of Duties down whenever it comes to the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys think in terms of which Call of Duty ranks better than which other ones. So leave your thoughts in the comment section below once again, and let's go ahead and get started with number 10, and that is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now this is the game where it basically started it all. The advanced movement system, the exosuits, the supply drops, you name it. Basically everything that we look back on and say that we hated all came from this game. But mostly that's not the reason why I'm putting this at number 10. I'm putting it at number 10 because of the way that these things were implemented. Because if you think about it, these are ideas that can change the game positively and change Call of Duty in general positively, but it's just the way that it was implemented within this game where it kind of got to me. The advanced movement system was not as superior as something like Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare. I felt like that it was way too chaotic and way too fast paced for a Call of Duty title, and whenever it came to the supply drops and the customization, man, were they out of this world. You know, I'm talking about the gingerbread costume, I'm talking about that clown costume that you can use to customize your soldier. I felt like that's where the authenticity of Call of Duty started to go downhill a little bit, and that the focus of trying to improve Call of Duty from its gameplay aspect moved from that to trying to add more microtransactions and more DLC, which should not be the case in my opinion. But overall, that's kind of the main reasons why I want to put it at number 10. Oh, and not to mention, the weapon balancing was kind of an issue as well. All I'm going to say is the Bal 27 Obsidian Siege and the ASMR. For those of you guys who played Advanced Warfare, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those weapons were never balanced correctly, and overall, it's something that I would just not go back and play. Advanced Warfare is definitely at the bottom of the list for me for many couple of reasons, but those are just some of the main reasons. Coming up next at number 9, Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, whenever it comes to this game, there was nothing really wrong with it because it did a lot of the things that past Call of Duties have done before it, but that's mainly the reason why it wasn't as successful as it could have been. It was a little bit lackluster in the sense that we've seen some of the things that have been happening in past Call of Duties over and over again come back in Ghosts, but at the same time, there was nothing exciting about it. The maps were very boring in my opinion, very dry, sometimes too big for a 6v6 type of game style. The flow of it wasn't all that great, and overall, the look and feel of the game is what really got me bored from it and not wanting to play it anymore. I feel like that I would rather go back and play the Modern Warfare series or the Black Ops series rather than Ghosts, and that's pretty much why it's sitting at number 9 for me. And like I said, fundamentally, there wasn't really anything wrong with this game. It's just that it felt very dry, and it kind of makes me realize why Call of Duty decided to go in the direction of advanced movement into the futuristic era after this game came out. Moving along with number 8, we have Call of Duty World at War. Now, this is where you guys are going to be like, whoa, what the heck? Why is this game at the bottom of the list? There's no way that it should, because apparently nowadays it's a sin to, you know, bash on games that have came out such a long time ago and have such memories for many people. But my personal opinion, I feel like that it was just a reskin of Call of Duty 4. I felt like that with Modern Warfare released and how it's already out, I would rather go back and play that game versus something like World at War. However, this game did have some positive things, such as the innovation of vehicles such as tanks in some of the maps. The authenticity of some of the maps itself were another positive thing. I feel like that those maps actually captured the World War II vibe more better than the current Call of Duty, which is Call of Duty World War II here in 2017. And that's nuts to think about, how the game came out in 2008, yet the maps are actually better than something we see here in 2017. But overall, you guys, it wasn't a bad game. It was a fun game to play, but I would rather personally play Call of Duty 4 over it, and that's why it's sitting at number 8 for me. Next up, coming up at number 7, Modern Warfare 3. Now, this game actually had quite a bit of memories for me because I did enjoy playing on most of the maps. I did enjoy using some of the kill streaks or point streaks or whatever you want to call it within that game, and it did still capture the Modern Warfare feeling that I absolutely love from that series. However, even though there was a lot of cool things about it, I felt like that there wasn't enough support towards the game. So whenever it came to like the second half of its life cycle, we did see a couple of game modes being added. We did see some updates roll out here and there, but it's nothing like how it is today. And I felt like that maybe even though they added a new game mode such as Drop Zone, for example, that game mode was way chaotic, way too glitchy, way too buggy, and it felt like that the game started to get a little bit more disorganized towards the end of its life cycle, and that's something that I kind of didn't enjoy. And I even remember myself not playing it as much anymore whenever it came to the end of its life cycle. So overall, great game, but it could have been honestly better. Moving along, number 6, we have Call of Duty World War II. Now, one of the main reasons why this is sitting at number 6 is because of how much we have to do in terms of contracts, orders, and challenges. So I know that a lot of people did talk about, including myself, how there's really not much to do whenever it comes to World War II, but I feel like that's mostly whenever it comes to the gameplay aspect. The maps are kind of lackluster in the sense that they're very plain, very boring. There's no dynamics to the map. It doesn't really capture that World War II authenticity like something like World at War did, as I previously mentioned in the beginning of this video. But whenever it comes to the challenges to get things done, there was a lot of that. We have daily orders, we have weekly orders, we have daily contracts, we have weekly contracts, we have challenges to complete, we have things to do in the headquarters. So whenever it comes to those type of things, there are a lot of things to actually do. But like I said, the main reason why it's not sitting at something like my top 5 is because when it comes to the gameplay aspect, it is very lackluster, and that's where it starts to get boring. Score streaks are not as fun to use as past Call of Duties. However, I will leave World War II with this. Sledgehammer Games does support this game a lot in the sense that there's always updates. There's always community updates on their website to tell us exactly what's coming to the game. There's always events that are being put into the game as well. So that's something I really like from developers, and I hope that future games like Black Ops 4 and future Call of Duties that come after it will also have as well within their games, because that is something that is still enjoyable. But overall, number 6 is where I feel like World War II sits whenever it comes to my list. Now moving along to the top 5. Coming in up at number 5, I have Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now right off the bat, I'm gonna say I know that this supply drop system within this game is absolutely terrible. It's the most anti-consumer supply drop system we've had in every single Call of Duty that have had supply drops. I get that, but at the same time, whenever it comes to the gameplay aspect of this game, I feel like that it hit the spot whenever it comes to the futuristic era. The maps were enjoyable to play on. The way that the advanced movement system worked with the maps was almost perfect in my opinion. The score streaks were actually fun to use, even though they were just score streaks. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that whenever we had kill streaks, those streaks were far more superior than some of the score streaks we've seen in games that have had that system whenever it comes to kill streaks. But score streaks in Black Ops 3 were overall pretty solid. The wraps, the rate, the talent, very enjoyable to use. And I don't know if you guys see a pattern in terms of which games I like and why I like them, but whenever it comes to the gameplay aspect, I love that more than, you know, something like World War II's aspect where it's all about orders, contracts, trying to get these supply drops and stuff like that. Whenever it comes to gameplay, that's the main thing that makes Call of Duty authentic, and that's what makes Call of Duty a really good game if the focus is on the gameplay aspect itself. And I feel like Black Ops 3 really did that, and they were the best futuristic Call of Duty game till this day for that reason, and that's why it's sitting at number 5 for me. Now coming up at number 4, we have Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Now basically all the things that you see in current Call of Duties, such as kill streaks, perks, create a class, pretty much all that came from Modern Warfare all the way back in 2007. And I know that's nuts to think about, but whenever it came to Modern Warfare, we had the 357 kill streak system that got implemented into the game that we haven't really seen before from Call of Duty, which were your UAV, your airstrike, your chopper. We got the introduction of perks. We basically got the introduction of create a class as a whole. And like I said, it's something that basically set the stone and set the pathway for Call of Duty even up until now here in 2018. And let's go ahead and talk about the maps real quick. So earlier in the video, whenever I was talking about Call of Duty World War II, I did mention briefly about how the maps were very plain, very boring. It didn't really add anything new to the game, but this is where Modern Warfare steps up its game. The maps were dynamic. We had first story, second story, third story buildings in some of the maps, and the way that they were designed, it felt like there was so much to do, but it felt perfect for that 6v6 type of game style. And that's something that I feel like Call of Duty should go back and try to capture once again. We need maps that we can remember 10 years from now, or 15 years from now. And I know that may sound like an over exaggeration, but think about it. In 2007, when Modern Warfare came out, for those of you who have played Modern Warfare, I can guarantee you some of you guys remember more maps from games like Modern Warfare than a game like Infinite Warfare. So that right there just shows you how iconic Modern Warfare was, and that's pretty much why it's sitting at number 4 for me. Next up, coming up at number 3, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 1. This game had a lot of memories for me. It was the start of the Black Ops series. I absolutely loved the kill streaks whenever it came to this game, and they were actually not that hard to attain, but still required some sort of type of skill. And that's something that I really did enjoy, because I'm a huge advocate whenever it comes to enjoyable and powerful kill streaks or score streaks or anything along the lines of that. And that's something that Black Ops 1 did have. When it came to the maps, there were a few that I didn't enjoy, but for the most part, I just enjoyed the vibe of this game. I enjoyed the setting of this game. I enjoyed the weapons of this game. There's a lot of things I enjoyed, and a few things that I didn't really like that I honestly can't think of on the top of my head right now, and that's pretty much why it's sitting at number 3. Finally, moving on to number 2, we have Modern Warfare 2. Now this game has to go down as one of the best Call of Duties of all time, but there's a reason why it's sitting at number 2. Even though it had maps that were really fun to play on, and even though it had kill streaks that were really powerful, and one of the most powerful kill streaks I've seen from any Call of Duty even up until this day, it it still had a lot of issues. It had the danger close problem, it had the one-man army problem, it had commando problems, you know what I mean? Like all these perks that basically were overpowered and sort of started to, you know, destroy the game a little bit. But the way that this chaoticness worked is so weird and special in a way, because the chaoticness that went on in this game is what makes this game so memorable. It was like the right kind of chaos, where there were so many unbalanced things, and the way that it was just left there and not fixed pretty much added to the memories of this game. And I feel like that maybe I might be talking with my, you know, nostalgia goggles on right now or anything like that, but overall, even though there was a lot of issues within this game that would be addressed and fixed if it were a current Call of Duty today, I feel like that overall it was a solid game. It really kept me wanting to play over and over again, and that's something that Call of Duty really doesn't have anymore, and that's why it's sitting at number 2 for me. Now finally, we have our number 1 spot that's about to come up, but before I, you know, reveal that, let me go ahead and mention the Call of Duty that really didn't even make it on this list, and that is Infinite Warfare. I'm gonna keep this really short. The main reason why this game was not on my list is not because of the futuristic era. It's not because it was the last game when it came to the futuristic title and by now we were all tired of it. It was mostly because of the fact that this game came out incomplete. I did not like the fact that we did not have leaderboards day one. We did not have our emblem editor day one. We had a lot of supply drop content that got released before the game was even completed. So that basically showed that what their main motive was, which was to make a lot of money off of these microtransaction and supply drops, and that's something I did not support whatsoever. So that's why I immediately stopped playing that game the moment it came out. But anyways, that's exactly why Infinite Warfare did not make this list. However, what did make this list was definitely that number 1 spot, and that has to be Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, dare I say it, the reason why Black Ops 2 for me is sitting up at that number 1 spot is because it's basically like Modern Warfare 2, but take out all of the things that were overpowered, broken, and needed to be fixed, and bam, you have Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 was very simple in the sense that we didn't have any microtransactions. We didn't have anything that was like game breaking in a sense, but it still had score streaks that were fun to use. It still had maps that were fun to play on. It still had weapons that were fun to use. So overall, I think that it was a pretty solid game. Like I said, it could be a better game, and that basically goes for every single Call of Duty in my opinion. No Call of Duty is perfect, but I do think that Black Ops 2 was one of the games that were really solid, something I really enjoyed a lot, and it didn't really have as much issues in comparison to the other previous titles. But once again, this is just personally my opinion, and that basically concludes my top 10 Call of Duty title list of all time whenever it comes to its multiplayer. Now, once again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you guys want to put your top 10 Call of Duty titles in the comment section below and tell me why you ranked them in the certain way you did, or just simply leave your top 10 list, please go ahead and do so. I would love to hear your thoughts and see exactly what Call of Duty ranks what position for you guys, and it would just be really interesting to see how everyone ranks their Call of Duty titles and which way they think it should be ranked. But overall, you guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. I'm sorry if this was a little bit of a lengthy one, but I really wanted to share my thoughts whenever it came to this type of a video or a list such as this one. But anyways, like always, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye.